guys, today I'm here with a full face of first impressions. We're going to be testing out a whole bunch of drugstore makeup. I don't know if it's just like the beginning of the year or if this is like our life now, but the drugstore has been coming out with so much new stuff, so I thought it'd be fun to sit down, try out some new makeup. I can give you my first impressions, and then if there's anything that you want to know more about, I can of course include it in an upcoming video. Some of these are great, some of them not so hot, so let's go ahead and get started. I started with primer, and when I asked you guys for primer recommendations, this one came up a ton. It's the NYX Angel Veil, a skin perfecting primer, and a lot of you said it was very comparable to the Hourglass Immaculate Primer, which is quite expensive. This guy, a little bit cheaper. It says that it's ultra velvety, oil-free, and feels lighter than a cloud, leaving your skin looking and feeling divine. Looking up close at my skin right now, I really don't feel like my pores are at all blurred. Maybe that's not really like what it's supposed to be. It's more of like a mattifying. It did kind of feel like it had mattifying properties, but definitely did not blur my pores. So I'm gonna have to test it out a little bit more because I know people love it. So maybe it's more of a mattifying primer because it did really feel that way. So let me know down below what your experience with this guy has been, but of course I'm gonna test it out a little bit more. Thinking about maybe doing like a primer week or like more primer focused videos and doing like one half of my face with one primer, one half of my face with the other primer, and testing them out throughout the day. Let me know if you would like that. Up next, I decided to conceal some marks that I had on my face. Normally I don't do that, but I wanted to see how this quad performed. It is the Quo Concealer Palette, and on the back it says that it's creamy, and holy crap, is it ever creamy. I'll show you a close-up of what it looked like when I just like dipped my brush in, and I was like, whoa. Because normally when concealers come in these kind of pans, they're so hard, but this is not the case with this guy at all. I did really like it for concealing acne marks, and then I went to put it under my eyes as well, and I just felt like it was almost too creamy. So if you have dry skin and you're looking for a concealer, you may really like this. Surprisingly, I do feel like it did a good job on my spots, but when I put it under my eyes, it was just like I couldn't control it. It spread so far. Maybe I just need to go in with a little bit of a lighter hand, but I do like it that it comes with 4 different shades, and there is a shade for my under eyes. There's a shade that kind of more matches my skin tone, so I think that it could be pretty suitable for a bunch of skin tones. For foundation, this is one that I picked up while in the States. I recently did an American Drugstore haul, which I will link to down below. This is from Sonia Kashuk. It is their Soft Focus Satin Matte Foundation in the shade number 8 Caramel. I feel like this is a pretty good color match for me. I was on vacation recently, so my face and my body is a little bit deeper. I'm an NC42 at MAC if you're curious. This comes with a pump, which is awesome. The bottle itself is actually like, seems really super high-end. It's a glass bottle. You can see the color of the foundation there, which I always appreciate. I do really like this. I put on quite a light layer. I didn't really want to build it up anymore. Like, I've kind of been feeling lighter coverage foundation, so I feel like this is definitely a medium to full. I can't really talk about longevity because I've had it on for like 30 minutes, but I will end up doing an oily skin diaries on it if you'd like to see it. But so far I am really enjoying it. It blended out really nicely, doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and doesn't have, oh, no, it does have a scent. Oh yeah. I didn't notice that when I was applying it, but it definitely has like kind of a florally scent, but I can't smell it on my face anymore. To set my under eye, I used this guy. It is from the Spring Collection from Quo. I love the packaging on it. It's kind of like this marbly rock thing. It's their face palette in Down to Earth. I used this kind of creamy banana shade under my eye, a super light powder. It doesn't have a ton of color, so I feel like it could work for a range of skin tones, and I do really like it. It's pretty finely milled. In my full coverage foundations for oily skin, I was wearing both of these as a bronzer and that as a blush, so if you'd like to see it in action. But so far I have really liked this palette. I don't love the highlighter. It doesn't have much sheen to it, but otherwise the matte products are really nice. Surprisingly, one of my favorite things that I tried today is a product that I almost never ever reach for, and that is a cream highlighter. I almost never reach for cream products. I have very oily skin, so I'll put on my foundation, I'll set my face and be like, meh, I guess I can't use that cream product. But I really like put this right in front of me to make sure I didn't forget to use it today. This is new from Joe Fresh, which is available at Loblaws, Superstore, Dominion, and Shoppers Drug Mart. This is from their new spring line, and it's in the shade Pink Pearl. And I especially don't reach for pink highlighters. So for me to like a pink pearl cream highlight is kind of insane, but you'll see throughout the video, until I put like the rest of my highlight on, I still have a beautiful glow on my cheeks even after I've powdered over it. So I think it's just beautiful, and it says Pink Pearl, but It's got like a gold in there too, which makes it much more wearable for me. Anything cool toned pinks I stay away from on the lips, on the eyes, on the face. But this has a little bit of a warmth to it, a little bit of a gold sheen, which just makes it so beautiful. So if you have been curious about Joe Fresh or cream highlighters in general and you're normally not that into it, this is so, so pretty. I tried to stipple it on with a brush and then ended up just directly putting it on my cheeks. And I'm just so impressed. I honestly could have skipped a powder highlight and just gone with this guy. To set my face, I used something new from Essence. This is their color correcting mattifying powder. This is a more or less translucent powder. I feel like if you packed a ton on, you definitely would get a little bit of a white cast there. It says it's color correcting. It's got like a light green in there, a light pinky lavender kind of shade, and then more of like a peachy neutral, I guess. With this kind of thing, I really don't feel like these color correcting powders really do much, because the whole point, oh god, mirror almost fell. The whole point of color correcting is that there is color there to correct, but when you swatch this, it just comes out looking like a basic translucent kind of white powder. So I really don't feel like the color correcting properties are there, but I do like it. I did like it anyways when I set my face. So I'm gonna have to test this out a little bit more. It is a really nice powder, and Essence is so cheap that it's like not much of a risk if you go and like pick it up for $2 or $3. On to brows, something new from L'Oreal. This is their Brow Stylist Frame and Set. So basically this is just like a pomade. There's tons of these out now, kind of following in the steps of the Anastasia Dip Brow. I do really like this. This is in the shade Deep Brunette, which is a little bit deeper than what I would go for. I'd probably do like a soft brown. I am the hugest fan of their Brow Stylist Definer, the little skinny pencil. Huge fan of the Brow Stylist Plumper, the gel. So I was really, really excited to try this. I do quite like this. I feel like it's a little bit creamier, less waxy and more creamy than the Dip Brow, but I do still like it. You're just gonna really need to go in with a light hand. I always recommend with any of these kind of pomade products that you dip in your brush in the pomade and then kind of wipe it off on the inside of the lid just to remove any extra product, because it's easy enough to build it up, but if you go in way too hardcore and then you're trying to rub it off, and if you've already got your foundation done and then it's just like smudgy brows, then you're having a crap day. So highly recommend going in with as light of a hand as possible, but it did go on really nice. It blended out beautifully, and I didn't find it was too messy or too creamy. To set my brows, I was testing out this guy. It is, again, not new from the drugstore, but new to me. It's the Essence Lash and Brow Gel Mascara. So basically, this is just a clear mascara. I don't really have many clear brow gels, so I thought I would pick this one up and test it out. I do like it, but it is quite wet and a little bit crunchy. I don't really mind it as long as it doesn't look crunchy. It definitely looked wet for about like 5-6 minutes after I used it, so I was careful not to kind of smudge it around. But that being said, if it does have some crunch, I feel like it's going to be a little bit longer lasting. So all depends on your preferences. And again, with Essence, this is super cheap. I think it was like $2 or $3. I don't think it did a bad job. The only thing I don't like about these kind of clear brow gels is that they end up getting so dirty and so gunky. But with a product like this, you won't feel too bad replacing it every couple months. Moving on to the eyes, I'm testing out a new Physicians Formula eye primer. This is matte, and then they've also got a shimmer one. They come in kind of like a 2-pack. So I was expecting this to be like a very creamy shade, something that's going to cancel out any color on my eyes and help to amplify the eyeshadow color that I was putting on. But essentially when you put it on, it does kind of blend out, and it ends up being like basically clear, which isn't a problem. But if you're picking this up expecting to get kind of like this creamy color out of it and to really help amplify eyeshadows, it's not going to do that. As a base, I think it did a good job. This is only my second time testing it out. The rest of this is basically first impressions, but this one I did try yesterday out of curiosity, and I don't think it really helped with wear time. I have incredibly oily eyelids, and not many eye primers do much for me, so this one I'm not totally sure about. I am gearing up to do a full Physicians Formula kind of a test out face thing, so I'll test it out a little bit more before that and report back. Then for eyeshadow, I'm using the Maybelline 24K Nudes palette. I've actually never tried any of these palettes before, and I know that they are not very well reviewed, so I was super curious to try it. And this is really the first one that's come out shade range that has been at all interesting to me. The other ones were very cool tone. Then there was Blush Nudes that looked like Naked 3, and I hated Naked 3 on my skin tone, so this one came out and I was like, okay, this one looks like something I can get down with. But of course, in typical drugstore eyeshadow palette style, there is no matte mid-tone transition brown shade, so that is why I reached for this guy from Joe Fresh. Lash. This is new again to their core spring line, I think it is. It is their eyeshadow in the shade Cinnamon, and this totally impressed me. Not at all a cinnamon shade. When I think cinnamon, I think like, you know, those gorgeous warm rusty browns, but that is okay. This is still like a slightly warm, kind of neutral mid-tone brown, and I think that this would just be so perfect, something to accompany those palettes that don't have the mid-tone shade. If there's a palette that you love and you want to travel with it and you don't want to take along a whole other palette just for like a crease shade, this is beautiful. It does have a bit of powder kick up, but I don't mind. It blends out beautifully on the eyes, and it's just such a good staple shade. On to this guy. I don't know, guys. I really wanted to love it. I was like, I'm gonna love this. Like, I'm gonna be that person that likes this. I'm gonna be able to make that recommendation. I'm not so sure. So the gold, love it. Wearing this all over my lid. I put it on with my finger because I figured that would be the best way to do it. I do that with a lot of my high-end shadows. You just get a ton of color when putting it on your lid with your finger. I'm totally okay with that. The problem came when I tried to use the other shades with a brush. So first I went in with this kind of olive green shade to put that in the outer corner. Didn't really do much, didn't really blend out very nicely. The oddest thing about this palette, it was like when I touched my brush to the eyeshadows, they kind of got like hard pan. So you know when you have like a wet brush and you put it on a powder and it gets kind of hard and weird, and then like, just look at this shade. Like, what happened to that? Like, maybe I had another color on the brush, but like by no means was it wet. I don't know if you can see, but it's almost like there's like brown on there and it's hard. The same thing happened like with this shade here. It's like as soon as you started touching them, they got nervous and like stiffened up and were like, ah, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. So then I tried to use the cream shade under my brow bone. That was okay. And then I also ran the purple on my lower lash line. So if I had to go like off of just this first impression, the gold shade was gorgeous, but you can find gold shades just about anywhere. So far, not so good. I'm gonna have to play around with some of the other shades. Maybe they're just gonna make better lid shades, but so far, I don't know. Testing out a new liquid liner. This is the Infallible Paints liquid eyeliner from L'Oreal. I love their slim eyeliner pen, I think it is. This one I'm not so sure about. I kind of find it hard to work with, but I'm also basically incapable when it comes to putting on eyeliner. So something that I find hard, you may find easy. I just can't do it to save my life. So this one, it has a pretty good black color. I wouldn't say it's like the most black, and it doesn't seem too shiny either. So I always appreciate a more matte eyeliner over a shinier one. The pen little tip, it's like a felt tip. It does get quite thin. I just, you know how you just know with eyeliner, kind of you're like, oh, this is good, or like, meh, I don't think so. This one, I'm just kind of like, I don't love it, I don't hate it, and I just feel like it's not as black as it could be, and the other L'Oreal one that I have is just so much better. Something that I am really feeling from L'Oreal is this primer. I have used this once before, and I'm not sure if this is new. I know this is from their Voluminous line, so it's to go in combination with their Voluminous Mascara, which is fabulous. It's been around forever, cult favorite, but this I'm not sure. They sent this to me about a month ago, but I don't know if it was like, it was kind of like a Valentine's Day package, so I'm not totally sure if it's brand new. Either way, it's out now, and it doesn't really matter. But I love this. If you are like terrified of clumpy lashes, you probably won't like it, but you'll see when I put this on, like this seriously coats your lashes. They go totally white. I left it about 30 seconds to a minute just to kind of like set. I wouldn't let it like go completely dry because I think it'll be harder to get your mascara over it, but I feel like this added such incredible volume. I did put this mascara over top. Obviously, you don't want to leave my lashes white. Doesn't add much nice definition to the eyes, but these two in combination, I love the way this looked. I love this when I used it with another mascara too. The other mascara that I used is the Scandaleyes Reloaded from Rimmel London. I have a whole bunch of new Rimmel stuff too, their new eyeshadow palettes and lipsticks, so let me know if you'd like to see a video where I'm like testing out their eyeshadow palettes. I can do a lip swatch video on their new matte lipsticks, and we can kind of put those to the test, because I used to buy a good bit of Rimmel and I haven't in a while, so I'm curious to try out some of their new stuff. But this I do like. I remember liking a lot of their mascaras too. This is kind of like a more traditional bristle brush. They are a little bit far away, but it did add really, really nice volume, and I do love the way that it looked on my lower lash line as well. Moving back to the face, I'm not really sure why I went in this order, but it's generally the order that I do my makeup. But I decided to test out a new bronzer, and I have been so into bronzers this like past year, ever since I discovered that it's possible to have a bronzer that works for my skin tone. This is new from Quo. It is their bronzer duo in Golden Glow. Love this. It's got kind of like a goldeny core in there, which in swatching it, actually that can make a decent highlighter, but it doesn't seem to show up on your face, which I like because I don't really like glowy bronzers. Like, I like to add my glow where I want, and this actually works for my skin tone, which is so exciting because bronzers on my skin tone is just a nightmare. Most bronzers are like face powders for me, so I'm really excited that this bronzer works for me. It has a gorgeous texture, really blends into the skin nicely, a little bit of kick up, but like I do not mind powder kick up. Powder kick up to me is only bad if like the product is so soft that it's like gonna break in an instant, or if it just is hard to control on your face. Otherwise, if there's kick up, there's kick up. If the product works, it's totally great for me. So I've got another one that has kind of like a pink core in it, and that one looks a little bit more cool toned, so I'm gonna have to test that one out, but I'm really loving this. For my blush today, I am wearing the Maybelline Master Blush Color and Highlight Kit. This one is in the shade 10, and I believe there is only one shade. So I decided to use this kind of like deepest purple shade, and this comes out really purple. I've got a few blushes that look purple. When you put them on the cheeks, it really doesn't, but this comes out super purple. And then I put this kind of more corally shade towards the center of my cheeks. Again, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like I thought it was going to work for deeper skin tones. Just looking at it, I was like, okay, good. A blush palette where everything is not totally pastel. But in putting this kind of darker purple on my cheeks, it really almost had a cooler tone purple, which I really do not like the look on me. And then the coral is still quite light. And then I didn't end up using the highlighter. I was going to, but I wanted to use something else. But just in swatching this on my skin, it is a little bit icy. So again, I'm going to need to report back. I don't think that the product is bad, however. I just think it might not be good for me personally. If you have a cooler skin tone, a lighter skin tone, or if these are the kind of shades that you like to reach for, I do really quite like the blushes. I can't speak for the highlight, but just for me personally, it's like a little too cool tone pink. So I didn't use the highlighter in that Maybelline palette because I wanted to use this guy. I mean, frig, it's so pretty. It's from NYX. It is the Duochromatic Illuminating Powder in Synthetica. I mentioned this in my American Drugstore haul. It is so densely packed in there, but I was like, I'm gonna make this work. So I ended up putting this on with my Real Techniques setting brush, and I did get some color out of it. And then I went in with a little bit more of a dense brush. I know some people had mentioned using their fingers as well, and this does come in other shades. So if you look at this like orangey yellow and you're like, hell no, there's also some cooler toned products too, depending on your skin type. That being said, it just doesn't do what I want it to do. And it might be the fact that I didn't really like the way my cheeks looked because they were kind of cool toned, and then I'm trying to force this like warm toned highlighter over it. But I'm gonna make this work because like if I was a product in a pan, it would be me. Like, this would be me. I would be orange and reflect yellow gold, and I would live my gorgeous, warm, glowy life. So I need to make this work. I think it might be potentially better as an eyeshadow, or maybe if I have like a really warm blush on, use it as like a blush topper. I'm gonna make this work. It is so pretty. It's not that it's bad, it's just densely packed and not giving the impact that I thought it was going to, but I think I just haven't used it properly yet, because the first time I used it was for that drugstore haul and I already had makeup on, and then I piled it on, and then today I put it on over a blush that I really wasn't feeling. So I haven't given it a fair chance, and I want to love you, and I will love you. For my lip look today, I am wearing all Essence, and I absolutely love Essence. Like, they make some serious gems, and they're so cheap. The lip liner that I'm wearing is one of their long-lasting lip liners, and I love their pencil liners. Even though they come in like a wood format, they're so creamy. Like, some of the best lip liners I've ever tried, no matter the price point. So this one is in the shade 11, Be a Game Changer, which is like a little bit of a deeper shade. Really creamy. Not to the point, I think, where you could wear it all over your lips, but to the point where you can either line your lips, do an ombre, overline. Like, it's just really versatile. Then for lipstick, I love this. This is one of their new matte lipsticks in the shade 02 Perfect Match, and this is just one of those shades that, like, you know, is going to be crazy popular. It's kind of like the dusty, warm, mauvey, whatever that everybody is into, and these cost like a couple bucks. And then to try out this gloss, I have the Volume On Plumping Lip Gloss in the shade C'est Bon. So the flavor of this, like, I can taste it in my mouth. I'm gonna take it off. It might be the lipstick. I wonder what it is, actually. The lipstick actually smells really good, like candy. Maybe it's this guy. And then this smells minty. Maybe the combination is just horrible. Either way, this is the Plumping Lip Gloss. Doesn't have a ton of color, lots of shine. It smells minty, but it by no means has any plumping, tingling feeling. I don't feel like it plumped my lips, but I do like the way that these three products came together. I'm going to try and get my hands on the rest of these so that I can do a full lip swatch video. Because my cheeks were looking so cool toned, I decided to reach for this as well. This is L'Oreal's new blush palette, and this is in the shade 230 Blush. And this one I think is a little bit better for me. I like these two middle shades. I love this kind of corally shade. I love this like hot pink. Again, these two are a little bit cool tone for me, or a little bit like pastel-y, I guess, not really cool tone. But I did put this one on my cheeks and I have really been liking this palette. All three are matte and none of them have any shimmer in them. And I think that's the same for these blushes too. I think they're matte too. I hate when blush palettes have too much shimmer. Yeah, these are all matte as well in the Maybelline. Lastly, I realized I have this setting spray that I didn't try out. This is from Quo. It is their makeup setting spray. What the f... Okay, the spray on this is crazy. Like, it's all over my shoulder. I don't know. It was like I couldn't get my face. Like, I was like trying to... I don't know. I will report back on that. It does have a nice mist, but it just seems to do whatever the hell it wants. So there you have it. Those are some new products at the drugstore. Let me know down below what you are interested in seeing more about, what you have tried as well. And let me know if you liked this style of video. Instead of like me talking as I put it on, would you rather that I put it all on and then talk my way through me putting it on, if that makes sense. I kind of like this style a little bit better because I can gather my thoughts. I can put all the products on, gather my thoughts, and then talk to you, as opposed to like me rambling on when I'm putting on my makeup. I kind of prefer that style for like a chit chat, get ready with me, but when I'm trying to really review a product and give you my thoughts, I kind of like this format. But if you like it the other way, let me know down below. I mean, it is your video to watch, not mine. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!